Yeah, I mean, a bunch of news this year. A lot to adapt to. I've never missed a season before, so I'm really anxious. I was thinking about the amount of days. I think it's been about 630 something days since I've pitched in a Patriot uniform. So I'm just anxious to get back out there and compete and with the new staff, a real energetic team this year, and we've been looking good so far in the fall and spring, and I'm just excited to get back out there and compete. Yeah, I really figured it out about a week or two before the season started. It had kind of been bothering me a little bit, but one of those things you just feel like you need to push through and try to go out there. If it hasn't gone yet, you just keep going. And about a couple weeks before the season started, I was throwing a bullpen, and I just had to stop. I couldn't do it anymore, and that's when we got it evaluated, and it was torn, and we decided on the best route was surgery. So I'm glad I did it. I feel stronger and healthier now than I did before, thanks to all the training staff that's worked with me, the doctors, the surgeries, all the support that I've had around me with my family, my coaches, and the Lord for blessing me with health again and touching my arm. So just a lot went into it, but it was about a week or two before the season last year where it kind of hit me that I'm going to miss the year and have surgery. So, yeah, my mentality going into it is I'm not the first one that's had the surgery. I'm not going to be the last one that's had the surgery. I'm just kind of another data point that one of those pitchers that it happens to. You can do all the research you want. There's obviously never any guarantees that you'll be back as good as you were, or stronger. But I was in really good hands with my doctor and the physical therapist I went to, and I was pretty confident in them that I would be back just as good as I was or stronger. And so far so good. It's still early. We even kind of accelerated the timeline a little bit, but everything was going perfectly smoothly. So far so good, and I'm feeling great. My surgery was in February of last year, and I threw my first bullpen probably around December 5th. So I don't even have 10, is that 10 months?
About 10 months,
About
yeah.
10 months, somewhere around in there. So it was about a 10-month process of, the surgery and then sitting out and then strength training and then specifically elbow strength training. There's a lot of steps that go into it. But as far as the throwing program goes, it was about 10 months till I got to throw a bullpen again, and then you got to work into it, start slow, and then you face batters, and then you get to go live again. And that's kind of where we're at right now, back live and ready to go. Yeah, so fortunately for me, my doctor, we did some, I don't want to call it like a new test. They're kind of doing it now, but I was one of the earlier ones to get it. They did the full Tommy John reconstruction, and they also put an internal brace in there with it that's like collagen coated, that's supposed to promote healing and also give you extra stability from here on out. And they're like, there's not much research on it yet, but it could help speed up the process. And there's certain tests that you have to pass to kind of move on to the next step of your progression. And the strength part came around pretty early for each step. Every single time I was able to pass them, able to pass them, able to pass them. And so that was kind of how it got accelerated a little bit. It's supposed to be about a year and a few months, but maybe with this new technology, it can accelerate pitchers from everywhere that get this Tommy John, and I think that would be really good for the game of baseball, and not just for me, but for everybody that has to go through this. A lot of emotions. Yeah, I didn't know how I was going to feel getting back on the mound. Throwing down a slope is way different than throwing on a flat ground. A lot more stress on the arm, so you can throw on the flat ground as much as you want, and obviously I did to get my arm back in shape, but until you step back on that mound, you don't really know. So I was a little nervous, a little anxious to see how it was, but once I threw that first pitch and realized my arm was okay, and everybody around me telling you that your arm's fully healthy, you can let it go, that really helps as well. And once I got that first pitch out the way, it was all good from there. And then starting to throw against hitters, you get that little competitive streak back in you again, and your heart starts racing a little bit, and that's a different feeling that you got to conquer as well. And honestly, the first couple batters didn't go so good. I had to get had to get the cobwebs off, but after that, it started going good again, and I'm just happy to be back out there and feel blessed to be back out there so soon. Big sigh of relief. You know, it didn't feel good whenever it's hurt. Obviously, it's frustrating not being able to pitch whenever you're hurt. So just to be back out there and throw that first pitch, and it's like, oh, my elbow doesn't hurt. It's a big just sigh of relief, and a lot of joy and happiness after that. So I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life right now. I lost a good amount of weight after surgery, trying to get back in shape. You know, you got a lot of time to sit there and reflect on yourself whenever you can't get out there and compete. So I feel like I'm in better shape now. I'm stronger than I was before, and I feel like that's translated to the mound. I feel like my velocity's up a couple miles an hour, and my breaking stuff's a little bit sharper, and my changeup moves a little bit more. So you know, I don't want to jinx it too early, but overall, you know, could see myself coming out better in the end out of all of this. So just getting back in shape and getting the stuff a little sharper has been the biggest difference I've seen so far. We've changed kind of what I throw a little bit, so I've still got the fastball and I still got the changeup, but we've worked more. Previously, I had a slider and a curveball, a true curveball, and those weren't quite getting it done whenever I got back. It wasn't quite as sharp, and with my arm angle, we kind of moved to trying to throw a cutter and a slurve, which is kind of a mix between a slider and a curveball, and those have been really successful. The cutter, it moves almost kind of like a slider, and it's a little harder than it was before, and it's going to be a really good pitch for me. It's going to be kind of match that changeup that is my go-to pitch and was my go-to pitch before. That cutter is going to match that, and then of course the slider can be a get me over early in the count for strikes, and maybe get some hitters out in front of that as well. So yeah, we've been working on kind of a new repertoire and trying to fool the hitters even more than before. So I'm excited about that. There's a lot of excitement around the program. You know, in the off season when coach retired, it was a lot of questions. You never know kind of where you stand with new people coming in, especially coming off of an injury. It was like, you know, you don't know if they know you or not, know about you or not. So always a lot of questions, but from the very beginning, all the coaches here have been very supportive and have helped me out a ton. And I couldn't have asked for a better staff to come in and really work with me and help me out and be so supportive. They've put in a lot of work and effort just around the stadium and on the team, and they're real hands-on. Just a lot to be excited about with the players we've got this year and the coaches we have. So I'm looking forward to a great season. Oh, I can't wait. I've still counting down the days until I get to do that, and it's coming soon. But I know it'll be a really cool experience. I know it's at home, so all my family will be out here. I know I'll have a few friends out here, and just being back out there with my teammates, it'll be an overwhelming experience that I can't wait for.
Well, 2 years ago, I thought Robbie was probably a top 3 arm in the league. He did very well against us in the conference tournament, obviously when I was in the opposing dugout. So, I mean, I have very high expectations for him. I think what he is a true competitor, and he's got really good stuff. So we're extremely excited about it. Very far ahead of his rehab when I got here, which was a good thing. As far as taking care of himself, I mean, he's done an extremely good job of that. I mean, he's worked extremely hard in the weight room. He's taken very good care of his body, and his throwing has been, I mean, I joke with him and told him that it was probably the best rehab I've ever seen for a guy coming off Tommy John. So he's ready to rock. His initial throwing, when he started throwing, it was no pain, there was no soreness. The arm strength was really good to start with. I mean, he followed his program to a T, and I mean, the biggest thing I can tell about Robbie is just the physicality that he's changed his body in a good way. So that's always going to help. Well, he's been 88 to 92 as far as his fastball velocity. He's always had a really good changeup. That's been kind of his bread and butter for just what he is. I mean, he's developed a cutter now, which has been a pretty good offering for him since he started throwing it. And I mean, he's a strike thrower. He's got really good stuff, and he's a big time competitor. I mean, that's a mix for a guy that every time he goes out there, we should have a pretty good chance to win. No, I don't have any. There's no hesitation with me as far as Robbie Jordan goes. I mean, he's salt of the earth type guy, and his competitiveness is extremely high. And I mean, as long as he's feeling good about himself, I think it's something that we should always feel good about with Robbie Jordan on the mound. I'm extremely excited, very humbling experience to go through it with getting a job, and very exciting for me and obviously the staff we brought here with us. It's something that we're very proud of. For us, we're trying to build a brand of baseball that's extremely competitive and hard-nosed and aggressive, and just the recipe for what it takes to win. I think that's kind of what you need no matter where you're at. I mean, you need players that are hard-nosed and that'll play hard and have belief in themselves. And I mean, that's the job for us as a coaching staff, is to get them as many game reps and get them prepared as much as we can, and build confidence in them, and give them weapons they can use to be able to do things in certain scenarios in the game. And that's what we plan on doing. That's going to be from day one until they decide that I no longer need to be here. So we're going to do everything we can to be successful, and that's kind of the motto for us.